Hello, it is August the 14th, 2021. My name is Razor Taps. I'm a licensed professional black hat by trade. That's what I do for a living. My team and I are in charge of cybersecurity network infrastructure in District 6, and we do quite well here in North Carolina. This video has a disclaimer. I'm going to, as with all my videos, past and future videos, this video is for your educational purposes only under the Freedom of Information Act. There is no defamation of character or slander towards any group or any one individual unless my team have been assigned to your social media website channels as well as your private websites. We are PC profilers. What is a PC profiler? We are given a list of potential race baiters, hate speech promoters, and electronic social media insurrectionists. An electronic social media insurrectionist is anyone who has a verified personal website, a verified social media channel, that they give out names, addresses, phone numbers, office locations, and business hours of either elected officials, first responders, healthcare facilities and their doctors, police departments, officers, and administrators, with the sole purpose of giving out names, addresses, phone numbers, office locations, business locations, cell phone numbers if possible, and they encourage and incite others to contact them by phone, emailing them, or go see them in person and harass them. That is now a civil court matter. That is now, thanks to January the 6th, a felony 1 or a misdemeanor 4. Anyone who creates a channel on social media and openly attacks and uses defamation of character and slander towards a business, whether it be healthcare or police department, or you go after an elected official, local and state, that is insurrection. Electronic social media insurrection, of which you can have a civil court matter brought to you, and you can be facing 15 to 22 years because you thought it was a funny idea to openly attack and slander, defamation of character towards a business. Just cracks me up the levels of stupidity. People think the First Amendment and the freedom of speech and the right of expression, they have no clue that freedom of speech and the right of expression has a fine line. That is why a lot of social media channels are being removed for race baiting, hate speech, and now social media insurrection. It just cracks me up. You have to have an open mind and a moral heart when you think of going after a local business or a state business. Whenever you attack a elected official, both local and state, you have to be in your right mind to decide whether or not, if you want to commit domestic terrorism in the form of social media insurrection. These businesses and these people can take you to court and they will win. How much money do you have for bail these days? Just cracks me up. Before I go any further, let me try and clear up a few things about this COVID-19 and Delta variant. How many of you know what one of these is? You ever use one recently? It is a mask. It is a preventive measure. How many of you have taken the COVID-19 and Delta variant vaccine? It is a preventive measure. You're going to hear the word preventive measure a lot from me. Anyone who wears a mask, gets the vaccine, stays 6 feet social distancing, will prevent themselves from catching the COVID-19 virus. Before you step out of your house today, make sure that you do not have a fever at all. Make sure you're healthy enough to be around others that do not have a mask or may be carriers of the virus. If you have been vaccinated and you got your little card to show that you've been vaccinated, wonderful. I applaud your effort. But whenever you wear a mask with your vaccine and you go out in a public marketplace, surround yourself with people without a mask and have not received the vaccine and that have a fever, you can get infected with the COVID-19 or Delta variant virus, even though you wore a mask and you were infected. Again, it is a preventive measure. Don't purposely go out to a Republican super spreader rally thinking that you're protected when you know for a fact you're not. That is the only way anyone that has been vaccinated can get the COVID-19 virus, when you surround yourself around a bunch of infected people with a fever. Progressive, conservative Republicans and Republicans in general want to kill off their own party. They're now refusing mask mandates. They're killing their kids. They're killing themselves. That's fine. Please, I'm a Democrat, have been for years. I use an open mind and a moral heart when it comes to the safety and security of my family. I've been vaccinated and I do wear a mask out in public. I take care of myself, my fur babies, and my family. I do not purposely take my wife and children to a super spreader event because I want to get me out there. Remember, to a Republican, it's the party first and your family second. You don't like that theory? You don't like that analogy? You don't like the whole card truth? That is what it is. Oh, you're insensitive, Razor Tap. Why are you saying that? Because it's the cold, hard truth. If you do not have the common sense and the decency to respect yourself, then at least respect your family, your friends, your loved ones. Wear a mask. Get vaccinated. Social distance. Don't purposely go out into the public surrounded by people with a fever. You will get the virus regardless if you wear a mask or not. Again, a preventive measure. That is my soapbox moment for the COVID-19 and Delta variant virus. Let's get on with the news, shall we? I stated before that I'm a huge fan of the news. I have 5 social media news sources of which I draw from. I literally put myself down in the far right hand corner of all of my videos, and I make the news my centerpiece. I allow you, the viewer, to read and follow along with my computer screen in real time. That is the only way you can fact check me and prove me credible. My credibility will go up. Anyone who preaches to you from a piece of paper, who reads it online without letting you see their screen, is nothing more than a babbled conspiracy theorist, an opinion streamer, if you will. Anyone who refuses to allow others to see their screen and what they're reading are sick in the head. Case in point, this profile that I'm assigned to is profile 4. Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr. or Douglas M. Ducote Sr. I have a 2.5-year video library of Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr. I log video and threads. I look for race baiting, hate speech, and now social media insurrection. I give this information to Google administrators, and if it deemed profitable in a courtroom for defamation of character and slander, then it is a civil court matter of which healthcare facilities and police departments can now sue Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr. for slander and defamation of character. That is the sole purpose for being profiled of this race baiter. Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr. has a 10.5-year video library of race baiting, hate speech, and now social media insurrection. He created 2 videos in the YouTube video ID algorithm of each assigned video. He gave out names, addresses, phone numbers, office locations, business hours of this healthcare facility. He went after Mr. Timothy Best in Lake Charles, Louisiana, a neurologist there at the healthcare facility, and he incited media insurrection. He encouraged others. He gave out names, addresses, phone numbers, office locations, phone numbers of Mr. Timothy Best in the healthcare facility of which he practices in, and he begged his paid minions to contact them by phone, email the company in person, or harass them in person. That is social media insurrection. The healthcare facility, including Mr. Timothy Best, can now sue Mr. Douglas Ducote Sr. for defamation of character and slander towards him and his business, and they will win. He also openly attacked a police department, administrative department in Hopewell Township, New Jersey. In this video, he openly gave out names, addresses, phone numbers, office locations, and hours of this police department administrative staff. In the video, he put all that information down in the comment section below of his video, and he incited social media insurrection by encouraging others and his paid subscribers to contact them by phone, emailing them, or harassing them in person, taking that risk of being a martyr and getting arrested for social media insurrection. This police department can now openly sue Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr. for defamation of character and slander, and the more he begs his subscribers to share these 2 flagged and censored videos, the more his chances of being arrested for a civil suit. Like I stated before, the YouTube video algorithm ID attached to these 2 videos, when he asks others to share these 2 videos and get the word out, like he did on his Douglas Ducote show, the same 2 video ID algorithm. Again, the video has been flagged, the video has been demonetized, and because that video has been demonetized, his whole channel is up for review, and all of his videos will be demonetized, because you cannot commit openly race baiting, hate speech, defamation of character, and slander towards an elected official, a local and state business, whether it be healthcare facility, first responders, or police departments. Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr., I know for a fact that you watch the Douglas Pains channel. You think you live in my head. That's not entirely true. I'm actually making money profiling you. I have a 7. If you think that you are living in my head, think again. You're not the only one I profile. I make a 7-figure salary doing profiling on race baiters, hate speech promoters, and social media insurrectionists. I make a 7-figure salary to put anyone in a courtroom for a civil court matter. So if you think you're living in my head, that's because I see dollar signs. I give out 5 social media news groups, of which I give the news. I put myself down in the far right hand corner of my video, and I make the news my centerpiece. I do use news.yahoo.com. I also use usatoday.com. I use pbs.org/newshour. I also use npr.org. And I use AP News, the Associated Press, apnews.com. 5 social media news groups. They are all linked together. They all share each other's information for factual, credible, verified news. Any one of these 5 social media news websites can be fact-checked in real time. Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr., The Douglas Ducote Show. This is your sub-channel. This channel, as well as your personal channel, have now been placed under review. You have received strikes on both channels. You have been demonetized on both channels. You will not make any money off of race baiting, hate speech, and now social media insurrection, which is now a civil court matter, a felony 1 or a misdemeanor 4 based on your criminal record. Douglas Pains channel gives the news the way it's supposed to be giving. I share links, sources, URLs. I make sure that my viewers can read and follow along with my story content. Like I stated before, I put myself down in the far right hand corner and I make the news my centerpiece. You will never see me read from a piece of paper unless I have links, sources, and the URLs in real time. That is the only way you're going to be credible and verifiable. I also have a sub-channel called Hate Speech Fan. Hate Speech Fan. This is my sub-channel. I also share the links, the sources, and the URLs in real time. I allow my viewers to see my computer screen, read and follow along with my story content, because that is how you're supposed to view the news. You cannot be a social media personality unless you share your desktop, unless you share your screen for everyone to fact check you. Your credibility goes up. Trust me, anyone who sits at their desk and spews information that they read off of a piece of paper without letting you see their screen, without letting you see their desktop, without letting you see links, sources, and URLs in real time so you can fact check and verify them? Trust me, I'm not giving money, I'm not donating any money to some guy who sits in a closet, who spews information that he wrote an hour ago on a piece of paper and gives no links, no sources, no URLs. He just reads about it. Now, you have to understand, this is a PTSD medicated patient. He takes amnesia medication to keep himself civil. What a crazy name to say, civil. Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr. My name is Razor Taps. I am a licensed professional black hat by trade. I profile and log all social media news groups. I log race baiting, hate speech, and now social media insurrection because it makes me money. You make me money. The more you screw up, the more you give out names, addresses, phone numbers, office locations, and business location hours of police departments, healthcare facilities, and elected officials. These people take my information and they can sue you in open court. It's a civil court matter, Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr. And remember, the only time you'll see me in a courtroom without this mask will be the day you're serving guaranteed 15 to 22 years for attacking people's credibility. Defamation of character and slander have a fine line when it comes to the First Amendment and the freedom of speech and the right of expression. But when you give out names, addresses, phone numbers, office locations, and business hours of elected officials, first responders, healthcare facilities, and police departments with the sole purpose of harassing them, that is a civil court matter, and you, sir, can wind up in my courtroom, and you'll finally see me without this mask. Trust me, when I walk in that courtroom, no cell phones, no video of any kind are in that room. I make that priority one. I wear this mask to protect my professional identity as well as my personal identity. Unlike you, I don't put myself on a billboard and say I'm one thing when I know for a fact I'm not. I just wish you'd put your actual phone numbers and your address on that billboard so you can truly reach your target audience. I'm not the one getting hit with karma on a weekly basis. You are. If your property's not being damaged, if Mother Nature hasn't flooded you out, if you're not getting hit with known diseases because you want to protect your personal rights and you want to throw away your family's health and safety by dragging them to a COVID-19 super spreader event, all because you want to be seen as a progressive, conservative, so-called Republican. Well, Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr., please, I encourage you and encourage your followers, your paid subscribers, to please don't wear a mask. Don't get the vaccine. Please go out to as many super spreader Republican events as possible. Get the virus and drop dead. Or wear a mask, get the vaccine and social distance, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see you at the voting booth. Which is more important, your health, your family's health, or your so-called precious Republican Party? You want to die for your country for stupidity? Use your head. Keep an open mind and a moral heart when it comes to the health and well-being of your family. I'll continue giving the links, the sources, and the URLs and the ability to read and follow along on my desktop. You, the viewer, can easily see that I put myself down in the far right hand corner, and I do make the news my centerpiece. Trust me, you'll never see me read from a piece of paper without giving the links, the sources, and the URLs the way the news media is supposed to be laid out. Occasionally I'll be using my sub-channel Hate Speech Fan, because apparently if I'm using my sub-channel, that's because I probably shared something from the CDC that I shouldn't have, and I've been flagged on the Douglas Pains channel, meaning I got a timeout. I got 7 days to think about the error of my ways. Well, I actually took that time to create a sub-channel, Hate Speech Fan, to continue giving the links, the sources, and the URLs the ability to read and follow along with my computer screen and give the factual news, not something spun and dreamt up and spewed from a piece of paper. Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr., you beg people for money because that's all you have left. Mr. Douglas Michael Ducote Sr., you do not live in my head on a daily basis unless, wait a minute, what do I think about when I think of the name Douglas Michael Ducote Sr.? I think of dollar signs. The more race baiting and hate speech, defamation of character, and slander that you produce on your race baiting channel, the more money I get from people who pay me to profile you. So if you think you're living rent-free in my head, that means I'm only seeing dollar signs. This is Douglas Pains' channel. I'll continue giving the links, the sources, and the URLs. I'll give my viewers the ability to read and follow along with my story content. You can see my computer screen. That is the only way you can be fact-checked. My name is Razor Taps. I am a licensed professional black hat by trade. That is what I do for a living, and I do it quite well. If you have an idea for a news link, please drop a comment down in the comment section below. Give me your news link. If I think it's publicly viable, I'll make that or add that to my news sources. Until then, have a blessed Saturday. It's going to be a scorcher here in North Carolina. I'm going to go out and mow the yard maybe today and visit my 2 grandchildren. Until then, stay healthy, wear a mask, social distance. If you have not been vaccinated yet, please do so. Take care of your neighbors, your fur babies, your property, your spouse, your children. Stay healthy. Do not go out in public and surround yourself with people that do not have a mask. If you find yourself in public marketplace surrounded by people without a mask, stay 6 feet away from them. Practice social distancing. Remember, this mask and your vaccine is just a preventive measure. Anyone that has a fever, whether they have a mask on or not, can still spread the virus. The mask and the vaccine is just a preventive measure. Just don't be around any Republican super spreader events. Remember, one of these costs pennies a day, but it costs thousands of dollars to be on a ventilator. You decide how much money you have left. If you wish not to wear a mask, if you wish not to social distance, if you wish not to get vaccine, then I suggest you check with your local funeral home, make your final arrangements, and I will not see you at the voting booth in 2022 and 2024. I'll instead swing by the funeral home and see you, because you're stupid. If there's any further credible video news that comes out today, I'll shoot it out here again. Until then, my name is Razor Taps. I'm a licensed professional black hat by trade. That is what I do for a living. I do have a sub-channel called Hate Speech Fan. I'll put a link in my About page on the Douglas Pains channel. You too can link to it and view my sub-channel if you wish. Until then, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Good evening.